Hello everyone, Jonathan Schlack, EAS&Weather here with a severe weather update. We have a slight risk for severe weather that covers the extreme southeastern tip of Wyoming, west central and southwestern Nebraska, eastern Colorado, northwestern Kansas, west central Kansas, extreme northeastern New Mexico, and the very far extreme northwestern tip of the Oklahoma Panhandle. And we have a marginal that covers east central Idaho, south central and southeastern Montana, eastern Montana, western North Dakota, western South Dakota, far northern and eastern Wyoming, northwestern and central Nebraska, parts of Kansas, the Oklahoma Panhandle, northwestern Texas, central Colorado, and northeastern New Mexico. And going east, we have a slight risk that covers the northeastern part of the Panhandle of West Virginia, northern Maryland, central and eastern Pennsylvania. The slight risk includes my area. By the way, I am in the slight risk. That slight risk also covers northern New Jersey, parts of southeast New York State, northwestern Connecticut, the extreme, very far extreme, northwestern tip of Rhode Island, central and western Massachusetts, extreme southeastern Vermont, southeastern New Hampshire, and southwestern Maine. And we have a marginal that covers southeastern Ohio, eastern Kentucky, well, I should say central and southern Ohio, northeastern Kentucky, all of West Virginia, northern and western Virginia, extreme northeastern part of, sorry, I don't know, it's just updated on me, extreme northeastern tip of Tennessee, extreme northwestern North Carolina, going northeast into Washington, D.C., a lot of Maryland, northern half of Delaware, much of Pennsylvania, much of New Jersey, Long Island, south central and east central New York State, southeastern Connecticut, most of Rhode Island, southeastern Massachusetts, central Vermont, central New Hampshire, and a lot of Maine. So, going over to each risk, there is a 2% chance of an isolated tornado in southwestern Nebraska, northwestern Kansas, and northeastern Colorado, where we have a 2% chance of an isolated tornado today. Going over to the wind, we have a 15% chance of 58 mile per hour wind gusts or higher from thunderstorms in the extreme southeastern corner of Wyoming, west central and southwestern Nebraska, eastern Colorado, northwestern Kansas, extreme northeastern New Mexico, and the very far extreme northwestern tip of Oklahoma. There's a 5% chance of 58 mile per hour wind gusts or higher in south central and southeastern Montana, southwestern North Dakota, far northern and eastern Wyoming, western South Dakota, I think I mentioned, western South Dakota, northwestern and central Nebraska, parts of Kansas, the Oklahoma Panhandle, northwestern Texas, central Colorado, and northeastern New Mexico. 5% chance of 58 mile per hour wind gusts or higher. Now, the black dashed areas, which encompass eastern Colorado, southwestern Nebraska, and northwestern Kansas, the black dashed areas are where we have a 10% chance of wind gusts of 74 miles per hour or higher. That's where we have the potential 10% chance for hurricane-force wind gusts of 74 plus miles per hour in the black dashed areas. So, going further east, we have a 15% chance of 58 mile per hour wind gusts or higher in the far northeastern tip of the West Virginia Panhandle, northern Maryland, central and eastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, parts of southeast New York State, northwestern Connecticut, extreme, very far extreme, northwestern tip of Rhode Island, central and western Massachusetts, extreme southeastern Vermont, southeastern New Hampshire, and southwestern Maine. And we have a 5% chance of 58 mile per hour wind gusts or higher in southeastern Ohio, central and southern Ohio, I should say, all of West Virginia, eastern Kentucky or northeastern Kentucky, extreme northeastern tip of Tennessee, extreme northwestern North Carolina, western and northern Virginia, much of Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., much of Maryland, northern Delaware, much of New Jersey, Long Island, south central and east central New York State, southeastern Connecticut, much of Rhode Island, southeast Massachusetts, central Vermont, central New Hampshire, and much of Maine. So, going over to the hail, we have a 15% chance of 1 inch in diameter hail or larger in the extreme southeastern tip of Wyoming, west central and southwestern Nebraska, extreme northwestern tip of Kansas, and northeastern Colorado to see a 15% chance of 1 inch in diameter hail or larger. And we have a 5% chance of hail 1 inch in diameter or larger in south central and eastern Montana, east central Idaho, far northern and eastern Wyoming, western North Dakota, western South Dakota, northwestern and central Nebraska, much of Colorado, northwestern Kansas, the extreme northwestern tip of Oklahoma, and northeastern New Mexico. And going over here, we have a 15% chance of damaging wind gusts, of hail 1 inch in diameter or larger in central and eastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, southeastern New York State, northwestern Connecticut, western half of Massachusetts, extreme southeastern Vermont, southeastern New Hampshire, and southwestern Maine. And we have a 5% chance of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger in central and southern Ohio, northeastern Kentucky, northern half of West Virginia, north central Virginia, much of Pennsylvania, sorry, they're not just updated on me, but anyway, continuing on, northern half of Maryland, northern Delaware, central New Jersey, New York City, western parts of Long Island, south central and east central New York State, parts of central Connecticut, northwestern Rhode Island, parts of east central Massachusetts, central Vermont, central New Hampshire, and central Maine. So, going over to the summary, scattered severe storms with large hail and wind gusts of 60 to 80 miles per hour. 60 to 80 miles per hour will be possible from mid-afternoon through evening along the Front Range to the central Great Plains. Scattered strong storms with sporadic damaging winds and isolated hail will also be possible across the northeast states during the afternoon and evening. So, to early evening. So, that's basically it for the Day 1 outlook. I will have a separate video soon on the Day 2 outlook. I will have the Day 2 outlook video as soon as possible. So, I'll have a separate video as soon as possible on the Day 2 outlook. So, anyway, stay safe in the affected areas today, and stay tuned for the Day 2 outlook video.